Good evening and thanks for joining us. It was the most forceful case the United States has made so far. The American Secretary of State called Syrian President Bashar al-Assad a thug and a murderer and declared he must be punished for gassing his own people. John Kerry laid out the evidence, claiming at least 1,429 people were killed in chemical weapons attacks, including at least 426 children. The White House also released maps showing exactly where they say the attacks took place. They say they are highly confident the Syrian regime was responsible for them, and they say it matters to the world if nothing is done. Eric Sorensen begins our coverage once again in Washington tonight. Eric?
Donna, it's called the loneliest job in the world, and tonight, U.S. President Obama appears to be all alone. He will decide if and when to launch a military strike against the nation of Syria. This weekend, the skies above Syria could light up with American cruise missiles. 5 U.S. destroyers in the Mediterranean, carrying up to 40 missiles each, are awaiting orders. That order will come from the White House.
I have not made a final decision.
No final decision, but President Obama clearly has a plan ready to go.
In no event are we considering any kind of military action that would involve boots on the ground.
The U.S. Secretary of State laid out the case today for taking action, starting with those horrible pictures of Syrians suffering and a new total, more than 1,400 Syrians killed, none bloodied, but all dead. The UN investigators have wrapped up their investigation today, but that will only confirm what's already known, says Kerry.
This is the indiscriminate, inconceivable horror of chemical weapons. This is what Assad did to his own people.
Kerry says U.S. intelligence knows regime officials scoped out the area to be attacked. This unverified video posted by the Syrian opposition appears to show members of the Syrian military preparing to fire an Iranian-type launcher, the kind that fires munitions found in areas hit by chemical weapons. The 4-page U.S. assessment describes intercepted communications after the attack. A senior Syrian official confirmed that chemical weapons were used by the regime and was concerned with the UN inspectors obtaining evidence.
The question is, what are we collectively, what are we in the world going to do about it?
We are not the world's policemen. We can't go and try to right every wrong by bombing it.
Many U.S. lawmakers have misgivings. A majority of Americans oppose getting involved in Syria. But after all the administration's rhetoric of demanding accountability, does Obama have any choice now?
If he does not take action now, after making these statements, then we become a paper tiger to the rest of the world.
Hands off Syria!
The protests are beginning. Opponents in Washington.
It looks very much like Iraq Part 2.
And yet there are supporters of intervention among Syrians desperate for change. But it all comes back to Obama. The United Nations will not support military action. The British will not take part. And the U.S. Congress will not get a vote. And Obama does not seem willing to wait any longer.
This kind of attack is a challenge to the world.
A challenge to the world, but a challenge accepted only by the United States. Other countries, including Canada, support military action, but it will be the Americans that will do the shooting and the Syrians who will be watching the skies. Donna?
They sure will. And Eric, John Kerry said today he was more than mindful about the Iraq experience when reviewing the intelligence on Syria. Just how confident are they this time?
Well, Kerry said that U.S. intelligence was sure to a high confidence level that it was the Assad regime that launched these chemical attacks. High confidence is a notch below absolute certainty, but for the Americans that represents proof enough, proof, as it were, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Eric Sorensen in Washington, thank you.